Hi, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. My name is Dana Hayes-Burke, also known as the Vision Builder, and I will be taking you through some things on this good Monday evening. How are you? I hope that you're doing well. If you're joining me live, just let me know in the comments that you're here live. If not, I know that we have a solid replay viewership, so please ensure that you let me know if you are looking at the replay. So today, this Monday Night Live, we are looking at the future. And we're looking at the future by looking back, right? It's really important for us to have a sense of where we are going by looking at where we have been. So, what do the last few months of a year, what you do in the last few months of a year truly determines how you start the next months of the first months of the new calendar year. Let me say that over, right? Whatever you do in the last months really sets the tone for how you start your new year. It can determine if you are starting the year just kind of surviving with no direction, you're just adrift, or if you have a sense of direction and you are thriving and you are looking forward. So, if you're joining me live today, we are already looking at how you use this month of September to help you to position yourself better, not only for the end of this year, but also for 2026. And I know it seems startling that I'm talking about 2026, right? But guess what? This year just started, and here we are. We are in September. And so I'm letting you into what I have been doing for many years. It's a big strategic move. If you've ever worked corporate, you will also see that there are companies who do this. In the month of September, you usually start seeing corporations developing budgets, reviewing, recapping, planning, right? Any of you all are in a corporate environment where you find yourself having to do that around this time, just let me know in the chat. I know we have some of us here. Let me know in the chat if you found yourself having to do that in a corporate space. That around September, they are usually asking, if you're a manager, you're asked to do your budget, you are asked to make your projections for the new year. In the same way, I believe in applying big business strategy to our micro businesses so that we can get the results, right? So it means that in September is a crucial month, not only in terms of getting yourself visible if you would like to get into that corporate space and be budgeted for to have deals in the new year, but also for you to assess where you truly are. And so it's been an open secret. I've shared it with my community forever and a day that September is always a crucial month for me because I send out a lot of proposals. For those of you who don't know, um, I do a lot of training and development as well. So there's a business strategy arm of my business where I work with micro business owners to help them to tap into big business strategy so they can get results. But I also have my corporate arm of my business because, complete business model, right? So, in order for me to get some of the opportunities that I have gotten thus far, I see your comment there, Chris. Thank you. I've always leveraged the month of September to get back to clients that I've had, and also to introduce myself to new clients or to new potential clients, right? To ensure that I can put myself in a place where I can be budgeted for and the services that DHB Vision Strategist provides can be budgeted for. And so one of the things that happens is that we often get so busy in the business of our business that we never actually make the time to do these non sales producing or non immediate sales producing activities. Make sense? So now is a good time to gauge because we're doing a lot of things. But how do you know if you are making progress in the right direction? So, what you do in these last few months of the year is really going to help you to have the right perspective as you go into 2026. So, if you are ready for me to go into this, just drop a ready in the chat, say, yeah, I'm ready. And let's start talking about where we are going and what we're doing, right? So, I'm asking you to think about the goals that you set for yourself and for your business at the start of 2025? Gonna ask this question, guys, and I'm hoping the answer is yes. Did you set goals for yourself at the beginning of 2025, for yourself, for your business? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Did you set goals for yourself? That's really important. And goals need to be set by being written down. If the goals aren't written down, they're not truly set, right? Yes, so we see some goals. Yes, I did. Hi, Natasha. Great. I'm happy to hear that. Now, also remember that not all of your goals are intended to be financial goals. When you have a business, there are goals that are financial goals. Yes, that's the ultimate, right? You want to ensure that you have that money coming in. But in order to hit those financial targets, you often will have to have goals related to visibility, customer relations, your internal operations, your own personal development and growth. Those are goals that you need to ensure that you have in mind. Ah, Natasha, I see that no, you didn't. So we need to ensure that now is a good time. If you did not write any goals down, September is still fine. Write some goals to December. And of course, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. Write a goal to December, because that's going to help you to ascertain where I'm starting from at the beginning of a new year. I always believe that it's impossible to map out where you're going if you don't know where you are. I mean, that's right. To me, that's common sense. My granny would always talk about common sense, not so common, but that's common sense for us, right? So, and I know we do it a lot in many areas of our lives, but maybe we're not doing it personally. So, here's what I want you to do: write this down. I need you to think about, firstly, your own personal development and leadership. Have you invested in yourself? Have you invested in increasing your knowledge and your capacity? Capacity in terms of what you do, capacity in terms of your own, like your life design. Have you invested in your capacity in terms of managing your finances? Ah, I see. You wasn't sure that you was going to continue. Hey, oh my goodness. Well, my goodness, you and I need to talk. That big step there, girl. That big step. I know you've been thinking about it for a long time. So congratulations on making the shift. So yes, now is a good time to really put effort and emphasis there, right? So what I need you to start thinking about is where do you want to place your focus right now, like in terms of goals. um you have to invest in your own personal leadership. That's the thing about business, right? You have to invest in yourself, you have to invest in your business, you have to invest in your capacity. I always say that I'm always on the lookout for investments that I need to make. When I needed to properly integrate my speaking business into my business model, I invested in getting coaching guidance with regards to that, and I still leverage those things today. So you have to think to yourself, what are the goals I need to set for myself? So leadership goals. What business operation goals do I need to set for myself? What customer retention or marketing goal? Well, let's put it separately. Customer retention goals do I need to set for myself? Marketing goals do I set for myself? And then finally, financial goals. So I want to ask you guys who are looking on, in terms of whether you are in business or not, what is for you at this point the strongest area that in terms of your goals that you feel you need to be focused on? So I know financial is a given. So let's consider that financial is a given. Then what other area of your business or your life design do you think you need to ensure that that goal is a priority for you right now? I'll allow you to think about it, drop it in the chat. And the reason I'm inviting you to drop it in the chat is because we do have some of us on live. And I do think that, again, many times, you may be in a space where you think I am kind of in this space alone, but we're a community, Caribbean diaspora. We have a lot of similarities, and so it's important for us to really think about what is the goal that we want to set for ourselves. So I'm seeing offline marketing strategy. So offline marketing strategy is what you want, but you have a marketing goal or a marketing target that you need to have for yourself. What does that look like? And when it comes to marketing, it becomes a quantifiable thing, right? I remember talking to someone, and I said to them, you have to think when you look at your marketing, I may be running ads, or I may be getting visibility or traction on whatever I'm doing, online or offline. And I can say I've done X quantity of a thing. You also need to measure, the goal comes down to what is the percentage of a certain action that I want from this number of people? And then what is the percentage of sale that I want from this activity? So that guides your overarching strategy. Make sense? So let me know again, what is your goal, your focus area? If you say, well, Dana, right now I don't know, that's a good place to be as well. The fact that you are now at a space where you could consider, I actually don't know. Let me think about it. We can work with that, right? So once we have our goals and you understand that this is my priority area, as I said before, you want to ensure that you're assessing where you're at, right? You want to be reviewing and assessing, what have I done? So, Chris, example, offline marketing strategy. What have I done in this area and how has it worked? So you need a specific goal of the outcome of this strategy, but then you need to look at, what have I done? So have I sent out letters? How many letters have I sent out? What's the response that I've gotten? How many of them I've gotten responses to? How many of them have gone to the next stage of my process? You need to think those things through. And here's an example, right? This year, what I've done, I've had a company or business profile that I've been using for a few years. And this year, I decided, okay, how am I going to differentiate myself a little bit? I'm going back to a lot of the same companies. I can't send them back the same material because it's not going to get me the same response. So I've redone the profile and I've restructured it in such a way that it is very different, I think, to other profiles that you would usually see, right? It's quite different, and it is more results focused because I'm trying now to pique the interest of whomever opens it. So I send an email with it. Once they've chosen, they're enticed enough in the email to open it, to open the document. That should entice them enough to get into a conversation with me. So I'm now looking to see, I've sent how many emails, how many opens have I had on that email, how many clicks have I had on that email, how many of them have responded, how many of them have scanned a particular thing I've put in there, how many of them have engaged in a conversation with me, and then finally how many are closed. And so I now need to look at, and so in reviewing my results, this is me giving you really live. I've reviewed, what was I sending before? What was the outcome of that? And what do I think I now need to change? What worked and what didn't work? In the same way, I need you to look at it and think, okay, if this is my goal, what worked and what didn't work? So where have you been? If it's marketing, where have I been marketing? Have I been spending money on ads? How much have I gotten from those ads versus how much I've gotten from a referral? So if you're realizing, like many businesses realizing, that your referrals might be your top seller, then how can I get more referrals? Make sense? Are you all with me? So if we're looking at optimizing, so your operations, for example, you want to optimize your operations, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I need to streamline certain things. I need to hire help. That's a big one. We often need to hire help, right? Well, you're hiring help, and then you say, well, the help not helping. Did the help is not helping at the end of this year? I want to ensure that I have an admin or I have a marketing person that is really working for me, and then you've hired help and the helping, and you're like, what is going on? This is not giving me the results I'm looking for. Then you have to go back and unpack that process and think, okay, what was missing? A lot of the times, what's missing is that the help is waiting for you for instruction. So I'll ask you, do you have things documented? So if at the end of the year I want to have help in this area, I want to know that I can close my eyes and my emails are being sent, then what do I need to put in place for that? So I've been spending the money for the help, but I'm not getting the result. Then what do I need to adjust? Do I have the wrong person? Do I have the wrong process? These are things that you have to look at. So what has worked for me? So you go in that instance with that operations issue and you say, well, if I am doing it, what is working for me? And then figure out how you can transfer that knowledge to the other person so you end in a better position. You end in a stronger position, right? If you know that you're getting a lot of money into your account, you're making the sales, but when you look at it, you don't have cash. Then what is going on in my process? So is my goal just to make the sales, but where's the goal for how much money is going to remain in my bank account at the end of the year? Do we have a goal for how much cash I want to have in my bank account at the end of the year? Now these are interesting times, and so we must have a savings goals for our business. Must have a savings goals for ourselves, because you want to be able to ensure that I can pay what I need to pay if the sales are slow, right? A lot of things to consider. I know I could take you through it step by step, but I want you to start thinking a little bit more broadly than I just need to make sales. Some of the things that you need to make the sales are operational. Some of the things you need to make the sales are in your marketing. Some of the things that you need to make the sales are in your closing. Some of the things that you need to make the sales in your understanding of what is going on around you. Make sense? Let me know in the chat if you have any questions. Ask if it's triggering any thoughts in your head. Feel free to ask in the chat. So if you decided that at the end of the year, I want to have $100,000 in the bank account, right? But you realize that you're not making enough monthly to really get you there. Or you may be making enough monthly, but your expenses are too high, that something is going on with your expenses. And you know that it's September, and right now I am at $4,000 in the account. Then what do? Well, having understood where you are at and what you've been doing, and maybe where your gaps are, I want you to start thinking about modifying the goal to the end of the year. Not and I know this might be a little bit contrary to the online internet advice. But right now I'm trying to give you the best practices so that you also won't be discouraged and won't think that you're a failure at the end of the year, because that happens to so many people. People think, well, if I don't hit the target, I've failed. No, there are ebbs and flows in your business. There are always going to be ebbs and flows in your business. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. There are always going to be ebbs and flows in your business. So you need to think, where am I and where can I realistically get to? I know this is what I wanted at the beginning of the year, but where can I realistically get to right now? Because I have a principle that I always teach. Principle that I always taught, and I teach it to this day when I teach goal setting, when I teach vision building. Your goals must stretch you but not break you. Right? Your goals must stretch you but not break you. I see this comment, Natasha. Waiting for the orders to come for me. However, I need a new scheme. I have to go after the orders. Absolutely. So now you need to set a target. You need to set a goal for yourself in terms of how many orders do I need to make every single month in order to maintain my standard of living, or in order to be able to cover what I need to cover. So this is not maths, and I like maths. So all the people who don't like maths, come to the front of the room. Who don't like mathematics, come to the front of the room. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers and a portfolio game when it comes to that, right? And so, those of you who are joining me live for the very first time, this is how it goes on Monday Night Live. We're free flowing. Yes, I have things to teach, but I'm going to answer questions and I'm going to touch on what is coming up, right? So, you now need to look at the portfolio of things that you provide with your business and ask yourself how many wedding cakes I might need. Yeah, right up to the front. Come straight to the front, right? How many wedding cakes I need? What's the average or the minimum cost of a wedding cake? How many cupcake orders I would need? What other pastry stuff that I may want to put on offer, right? Pastry, what are the items that I sell that I need to now put out on order? And how many do I need to sell in order to make my target? So the minimum. Kristen, you the back. Yes, you all are too much. So I may have my minimum. What's the minimum of this that I need in order to hit the financial target? So if you know, I need to have 5,000 EC at the end of the month, then break down the composition of things that you need to sell. And that's how you know what orders you go after. Now, ideally, wedding cakes, more money, but how many wedding cakes you're going to do a month? So there are smaller things that are often on orders. Birthdays always happening. People born every single day. So if that is the situation, think to yourself, okay, how many birthday cake orders can I get? How many cupcake orders can I get? And then I get my orders usually through referrals. So it's a model that I know. How can I make more referrals happen? How can I help the people who are always buying from me for their things to refer me to other people? And when you start thinking it through like that, it becomes more than just social media marketing now. Because your referrals are your primary sources, has always been. You want to think to yourself, how can I make more referrals happen? And be clear on what you want referred to you. So you need to sit down with that pen and paper or that iPad or that laptop and start really writing down what are my offerings. Now I need to have a catalog of offerings. I need to understand what it is that I'm likely to get monthly while still trying to get the wedding cake order, because the wedding cake order is going to come to me but it's delivered in 3 months, and understanding that process, right? So you got to sit down with that pen and paper, Natasha. Sit with that pen and paper. Think about how can I make my referrals work even more for me. And then broaden the scope of what you provide and who you provide it for. Christmas is coming. It's a good hint. Right? Make sense? Let me know if that was helpful to you. Of course, you know how to reach me. But I'm hoping that that was helpful to you so you understand that this is something that you could actually do. Work out the numbers, work out the numbers, work out the numbers. The numbers are going to guide you. The numbers and the offerings will guide you. So you're not sitting down with blindly thinking, hey, yeah, this is what I want to come. Hi, Sharon. You're not sitting down and thinking, oh, I just want this. Work it out, mathematics, this thing. So y'all, today's lesson is a math lesson. Catalog of things that you offer, average cost of it, financial target, break down what you're going after, use a referral model, especially like your business, Natasha, yours, Cheryl. Ensure that you use a model of referrals because it is comfortable for you. You are still going to be able to do your social media marketing. I believe in still putting out your social media marketing or whatever other version of marketing because it's a confirmatory space. But you leverage those networks. Leverage your networks. Right? Wonderful. Thank you, Sherilyn. Yes. So I'm glad that we're getting that. So new assignment, right? Assess where you are, look back, assess what factually has worked for you. If you know that you slowed down in general this year, then you actually evaluate on the premise of the effort put out, because maybe circumstances did not allow you to be able to put out as much as you would normally put out. So you assess it quantitatively. You ensure that you and you sure that you put it in the right context. It was not my I'm working every day year or I'm offering every month year. So based on what you have done, what was your return? Based on what I've done, what was my return? And based on where I am now, based on my in relation to the goal I set at the beginning of the year, what is my now reasonable target? What is now my reasonable target for this year? So when you realize you sold less this year, then you need to look at where did the sales come from or didn't come from this year. So that's just sitting down and looking at your invoices, looking at your records, say, okay, which place worked well for me this year and which didn't work well for me this year. And the places that didn't work well for me this year, do I have the opportunity or the capacity to find out or do some sort of evaluation there as to what went wrong? So if I was at a particular event and I did not make the sales that I was looking for there, do I know who my customers are? Am I seeing certain customers are not buying? Can I reach out to them and see what's up? Why are they not buying? What are they looking for? What needs I can meet? Or do I need to remind them of my presence? These are all things that you could just sit down, brainstorm it, and you will find it out, right? And then you set yourself a goal that stretches you but doesn't break you for the end of the year, including what it is that you would like to um have in terms of sales, what would you like to have in terms of operations or brand awareness, what you would like to have in terms of your cash in hand at the end of the year relative to where you are now, because you want to break out from where I am now. If I What do I need to do monthly in order to be at this place at the end of the year, right? And then knowing where I want to be at the end of the year, you can start mapping out 2026. What do I want 2026 to look like? Because now I've evaluated what I did this year, what worked, what didn't work. I can then start planning far more strategically for 2026. So you can start thinking now, how am I going to get the most impact out of this last quarter of the year? And then what am I going to do the same or differently in the new year? Because now I have more information. What you really don't want to do is you don't want to be continuously planning blindly. And that's the biggest mistake that I see with business owners, continuously planning blindly. I would sit and I would evaluate. I would sit and I would look at my numbers. I would sit and I would look at my reach. I would sit and look at where the volume is coming from. I may have less. For me, the last few years, I looked at booking less, but making more, if that makes sense, right? So that was something that I needed to put in place because of the things that were happening around me at that time. You have to look at what is your goal for the new year. How can I make adjustments? We can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And we also want to pay attention to that economically everything has shifted. That being said, I was explaining this to someone that even though economically things have shifted and customers seem to be buying less, or we say that customers are focused on things that are needs, that is not entirely true. Here's a little insider secret. Come to the front of the class. Let me tell you the insider secret. One of the things that I learned when I was doing my master's and we were learning insights to consumer behavior, all customer buying is emotional. All. All customers buying is emotional. The decision to not buy one thing and to buy another thing is emotional. The decision to splurge on a particular coffee rather than splurge on a candle is an emotional thing. There's no fact or reason behind it. Even how we grocery shop is emotion. The emotion is that, man, I need to make this dollar stretch for me. But what does that really mean? We're not sure if it's really stretching. Like, think about it. We're not really sure. We're really not sure if say the dollar is stretching. Like, I am not standing up in one supermarket and comparing the price in another supermarket and thinking, man, I should go over there because I'm trying to make the dollar stretch. So that being said, you have to figure out how to build, and this is what we hear on social media, but it's never really explained properly, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain it properly. You have to see how you can build with the emotional drive behind the decision for your thing. You have to figure out how to build on that. It's easy in some businesses, like Natasha's business, say the emotion behind celebrating birthdays. But then you have the consideration, but boy, better I just make some box cake. Well, the emotion is not really that I want cake. The emotion is I want memories. I want this to be happy. I want, when I look back, that this is really what I wanted for myself or wanted for my child. And so being able to connect with that, and it's tasting good and it's not, Duncan Hines or whatever it is, that is what's going to drive in a public space your marketing for people to come to you, right? So you have to think about what is the emotions, like what is the emotions behind coming to a private chef experience dinner. Why would I spend that money on that? Why do I spend money on this shoe versus that shoe? So there's always an emotion behind it. There is the emotion. We always talk about the losses, the emotion of loss, loss of opportunity, loss of experience, fear of missing out. You hear a lot about that as well. But there's also the emotion that goes behind I need value. So like Sharon, with your products, the value is the drive. And now in a time where people are full of allergies and all sorts of things, you got to bring the value proposition. So that's why people spend the money behind certain things, even in a time where we're all supposedly tightening our belts. And so as a business owner, you have to start thinking through, how do I leverage certain things to better position myself to connect with the people who are going to make the value exchange of money for what I have to offer. Yeah, try to cover a lot of things here, guys. And I had a whole bunch of banners to pop up and totally forgot about all of that, right? So here's what I want you to focus on as we start thinking about where we are going in 2026. We have to think about how to end this year strong. We want to think about how to end this year in the strongest version of ourselves. So, what I want to encourage you to do is to focus on one high impact Q4 goal. So, when I mean by one high impact Q4 goal, I mean something that really moves the needle for you. Something that it might not be money, but you know what? It's positioning me so well that I can take off properly in 2026. Something that is I'm refining maybe, and the high quality high impact is not something that is outward a lot of the times. It's sitting down and pulling together your customer database and seeing how I can build a community around my customers. I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about, how can I add an additional level of value here? How can I let more people know about me? So you want to start thinking about what is on high impact Q4 goal. How can I reduce my expenditure? That's something you can look at, right? So you have to now think to yourself, what is, as I end this year and I'm thinking about my financial targets, but more than that, I'm thinking about my business growth targets. What is it that I'm going to set as my high impact goal for this year? That's my challenge to you. I need you all to give me a goal. So you can come back on this video and drop a goal in the chat. Those of you who you're with me on Instagram, you're with me, you have my information, you're on my email list. Send me an email. Say, Dana, this is the goal and I'm setting. This is the quality goal. I would be happy to give you some feedback on it if that's what you want, right? So you want to be able to look at that. I want you to start looking at it from a strategic position, from prepping your business financially, maybe building your skill set in a particular area, maybe growing your network, because again, referrals matter, right? So I know I covered a lot of things today. Our next live is going to be a Q&A, so you can bring your questions to me. If that is what you want to do, you can bring your questions, or I'll just continue on this topic at our next live. But what I did not do, and I really want to thank you all so much for joining me and remembering to come through today. Was this valuable to you? Or did this help you with a little bit of clarity and a little bit of context? You can let me know in the chat. What I would normally do every August for my birthdays, I would always have some sort of sale on my website, products available for next to no money and stuff like that. I was not able to do that. And so I was thinking to myself, how can I kind of give back to my community, and help in this situation in terms of how you strategize for the end of the year. And so I have something on offer for you guys. I am giving a discount on my planning table strategy session. I'm going to give a 30% discount on it. If you would like to schedule that session, you can go to the website and get a session in. The coupon code is 2026 plan. Or if you would like to just come to me directly and we can sort it out in the back end, we can do that as well. But that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to put out a few. I can't take many people, but if it's something that you want for me to sit down with you and map out your goals, your action steps, and even going into the new year, this is something that you can grab and access, right? So again, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I am very grateful for this community. I'm so happy that I see it. Chris said he's gonna do his homework in one day. Chris, take your time. Thank you, Sherilyn. Thank you, Natasha. Guys, I value you, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to come back into this space where I can do this, and I can manage doing it, right? So, all the best to you. If you want this strategy session, reach out to me. Go on the website. You can just check it out there, and everything flows. Or you can message me, email me, and I can get you in. All right. So have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye. Yes, I'm happy I'm back to share that. Have a great night, everyone.